I guess that was a trap game, right? Whew. Usually when you see the trap coming, you don't fall for the trap. That's why I picked the Niners to win 42-21. They're better than the Falcons, but the Niners didn't play with any intensity. They were flat. They admitted as such. Nick Bosa said so after the game, and so did George Kittle. So it happens. If the Niners go on to win the Super Bowl, they'll look back at this game as the wake-up call that they needed to go forward and run the table. But we don't know if they're going to win the Super Bowl. This also could be foreshadowing of the reason why they lose in the first round of the playoffs. We don't know. All we know is what we saw on tape. I'm going to go through everything I saw with you right now. Usually I start with the positive stuff, the best plays. But after an embarrassing loss like that at home, I can't start positive. I'll end positive. But I'm going to start with the worst play calls of the game. And I'm going to start with defense. So let's go to the videotape. All right. This was the final drive of the game. The Niners defense basically played well until Jimmy Ward committed a pass interference penalty in the end zone, and then Kyle Shanahan didn't go for it on 4th and 1, and then on the final drive, the defense fell apart. A lot of people are blaming Robert Saleh for his play calls, and he should have made adjustments. I went through each play. I'll go through it later. I put it more on the defensive backs, but this is one play I think I would put on Robert Saleh. This is 1st and 10 at the 49ers 24 with 47 seconds left. They're playing man-to-man coverage. I'm cool with that. Let's look at the coverage. What they do is, here's Marcel Harris. He's bracketing Julio Jones right here. Why is it doing that? Hold on. Yeah, okay. Bracketing Julio Jones. So I'm cool with that. Look, you're doing the right thing. Saleh has the double team on the right player. This forces Matt Ryan's looking there. He wants to throw to Julio Jones. He can't. He pulls it down. But then he scrambles for 9 yards. This is Matt Ryan, one of the least mobile quarterbacks in the league. Can't let this happen. So let's look at it from the end zone. Why was he able to run for 9 yards? Well, first of all, let's look before the play, the alignment of the defensive line. What you notice is defensive end, and 2 defensive tackles outside the guards here. Let me do a little snippage, so I can draw a little bit for you in case you don't see. So this is, you got your defensive end out here. It's Solomon Thomas. I don't know why he's in the game. Nick Bosa, another defensive end. DeForest Buckner, defensive tackle. Eric Armstead, defensive tackle. You got no one in this A-gap, no one in this A-gap. This is a very, very aggressive pass rushing alignment. All 4 of them are going to end up behind the quarterback. You got no one over here keeping him in the pocket, which is really disrespectful to Matt Ryan. It's like saying you're not going to run even if you have a clear path. You can't make this mistake. I mean, I don't think you can play this front. You always have to move. You got to move one of these 2 inside. Either put someone here, right here, so that Matt Ryan can't just walk through the middle of the defense. That's my quibble with this front. It's greedy, it's reckless, and it's not really respectful to Matt Ryan. All these guys end up behind him. They're all selling out to 4 guys selling out to sack the quarterback. Not really working together as a team. They give up the easy lane. What I would say is to Robert Saleh here, my main problem, besides not having someone in the A-gap, Solomon Thomas. Why are you using him as a defensive end at all on the key drive of the game? He shouldn't be on the field. You'd be better off with Sheldon Day playing the A-gap over here. Or even Solomon Thomas playing the A-gap. He gives you nothing as an edge rusher. Watch him. He'd be more valuable just standing right here and not letting Matt Ryan leave because he's not a pass rusher. Watch this. He just runs himself out of the play almost every time. Look at him. And now he's useless. Can't pursue. Take Solomon Thomas out of the game or put him in the A-gap. Put Sheldon Day in the A-gap. Put Kentavious Street in the A-gap. Have a 3-man rush, but this guy doesn't really need to be rushing the quarterback or in the game. This is my main issue with Robert Saleh on the final drive because this is a 9-yard gain that sets the Falcons up at the 15-yard line. Makes it real tough for the Niners after here. They really had to execute perfectly with backup players after this point, and they couldn't do it. This didn't take a perfect execution. Just keep him in the pocket by aligning a little bit more conservatively, respectfully. All right, that's enough of that. Let's go offense. Next one. These are the worst play calls. And I'm doing this. This is the Niners' first play from scrimmage. What was wrong with it? Well, it's a handoff to Coleman for 2 yards. This sets the tone for the entire game. To me, it says you're not playing to win. You're not coaching to win. You're coaching like it's a preseason game. The message is we don't really need to win this game, so let's get Coleman going because he's had a terrible last 2 months. The Niners are coming off an exhausting 3-game stretch, and they needed a shot of adrenaline in this game right away. This wasn't it. Could have gone with a deep play action pass to Kittel on the first play. Falcons couldn't cover him all game. Why not hit him with shock and awe right away? Make him quit. Don't let him hang around and gain confidence. This is your first play of the game. Talk about coming out flat, handing it to Tevin Coleman. Gain of 2. I don't like it. Look at it from this end zone cam. He's one of your worst players on offense right now. This is the guy you want to give your first touch to. It's kind of disrespectful to your opponent. It's like, whatever. We can feature our worst running back right now and still beat you. We're going to use this as basically a bye game tune-up to get some of our struggling players going, and we'll beat you anyway. With really a vanilla pared-down game plan. That's the message they sent. And, you know, Richard Sherman sent that message on Wednesday last week when he said he could have played in this game if the Niners needed it. This play also is the same message. We don't really need this game. We'll get Tevin Coleman going. Let's go later in the first quarter. 4:26. Okay. Here we got Niners. We got 3 wide receivers, tight end, running back. Notice we got nickelback, linebacker, safety here. It's going to be regular cover 3, these 3 deep, these 4 underneath, play action. But this is a very standard play. This is a play the Niners run a million times. It's something they would run in preseason. It's basic stuff. Wide receiver is going to run in they call it a ghost motion, orbit motion, just a fake reverse to draw some eyes. Play fake over here. Zone coverage. And when they get this play fake, what they're always trying to do is hit the in-breaking route at about 15 yards. But they can't do it because someone's in the throwing window. And you saw a lot of this in this game. The Falcons in perfect position to stop Kyle Shanahan's plays, especially his big shot plays. So here, you notice it's a play action. He backs out. He turns his back to the defense. Usually this draws all 3 way up. This is what Kyle Shanahan, this is the basis of his offense, turning the quarterbacks back to the defense entirely. These 2 step up real hard to play the run. But this guy doesn't. This guy hangs back the entire time. In fact, he backpedals. It's like he knows exactly what's coming. Or they've been taught, you play the run, you play the play-action pass, because when it's a play-action pass, it's coming right here to Debo Samuel. It's like they had Kyle Shanahan perfectly scouted. So this guy ends up right where Jimmy Garoppolo wants to throw the ball. And he has to check it down to Raheem Mostert. Anyway, I thought that was really cool, and it showed how Dan Quinn, how well he knows Kyle Shanahan's offense. I would have thought that Kyle Shanahan would have had the edge on Dan Quinn based on familiarity, but it was the other way around. Every time Kyle Shanahan tried to call a deep play, it didn't work out. All right, let's go. Another one here. All right, so why did the Niners' run game struggle so much? Well, look at this. Here they go again, 3 wide receivers. I don't know why they did so many 3 wide receiver formations, considering they never threw the wide receivers. They're not blocking, they're not catching. Why are they on the field? Anyway, especially with the offensive line struggling pass protection, maybe get some more tight ends on the field, some more blockers. Hello, Ross Dwelly. Anyway, let's look what they get. They got 6 blockers, 3 wide receivers. Look at what the Falcons are doing here. They got 1, 2, 3, 4 defensive linemen, plus an outside linebacker, basically playing like a defensive lineman. linebacker, linebacker, linebacker. That's four defensive linemen, 4 linebackers, and only 3 DBs. That's something the Niners haven't faced this year. That is a specialty designer defense designed to take away the Niners' run game. It's basically the same philosophy and idea of what the Patriots did to the Rams in the Super Bowl, just with a little bit different alignment. You want to run the ball, you want to do play action, we're not going to let you. We're going to make you a drop-back passing team, a dinking and a dunking team. We're going to take away the deep stuff, make you execute short passes all day long. And that's what the Niners had to do in this game. Oh, come on. What is with this, man? 232. So my issue, the reason I call this a bad play, you see that you can't run into this front. It's an 8-man box with 4 linebackers. They're covering George Kittle with the linebacker. They covered him with the linebacker all game. Don't run into this. You got six blockers against 8 tacklers. There's no way you're going to get a positive gain out of this. Don't hand the ball off. Instead, play fake. These 4 linebackers are all hunting run. As soon as they see this, they're coming in. Throw the ball to Kittle. Throw the ball down the field to Kittle. That would be the spark of adrenaline that the Niners needed early in the game. Deep shot to Kittle. It was open all game. They were covering him with the linebacker. They could see it here. Don't hand the ball off here. This adds to the malaise, to the feeling of starting out flat. It doesn't get the fans in the game. It doesn't get the players excited. You know they're coming off an emotional, draining win over the Saints, a long road trip. They're tired. Give them something to be excited about. This isn't it. You can't run into this front. This seems just careless. You see it. 4 linebackers, 4 D-line. You run into this. No. Check out of this play. Call a timeout. Make an adjustment. Throw some play-action deep shots to George Kittle. All right. That's my little spiel on that one. And then finally, of course, the big one. I don't really have a highlight to show you here because it's of a play that didn't happen. But 152, this is 4th and 1 on the 25 with 152 left, and they go for the field goal. This is crazy because the way analytics are taking over football right now, teams go for it on 4th and 1 most of the time because you have a 75% success rate of picking it up. Your conversion rate on 4th and 1 is 75%. So if you do it all season, you're going to come out on ahead way more than you come out on bottom. He doesn't go for it. He kicks the field goal and trusts his defense to win the game, even though the defense is banged up. A lot of backup defensive backs trying to guard Julio Jones. The pass rush is tired. It was a bad call. It was a timid call. You got to go for it here on 4th and 1. John Harbaugh would have gone for it on 4th and 1. The Ravens go for it on 4th and 1 75% of the time. Because of stuff like you win the game. If you pick it up here, you win the game. You run out the clock. The Falcons only had 1 timeout left. Kicking the field goal doesn't necessarily guarantee you anything. You're up 5. The Falcons have plenty of time going against a tired, beaten down defense. This, I feel like, was Kyle Shanahan again, game management. Have you been in this position before? How much forethought did you give this? And would you do it again the same way? I bet he wouldn't. I bet he would have gone for it if he could do it again because he has good plays. He's actually very good at 4th and 1. As I'm going to show you. If you don't believe me, he showed it. It proved it in this game. So let me get to the best play calls of the game, starting with the offense. Go back to the first quarter. And these play calls make it even more mind-boggling that he didn't go for it on 4th down in the critical moment. Gut-wrench time. All right. First quarter, 3:06. This is 4th and 1. Not quite in field goal range, but these are plays Shanahan has in his playbook for 4th and a yard. He motions Kittle into the backfield. Quick play fake. Kittle goes to block. The man guarding him is Deion Jones. He reacts briefly to the play fake. Hesitates a little bit. This guy thinks he's blocking. Kittle leaks out. It's an easy completion. They get that 9 times out of 10. They don't have another version of that play they could have ran with the game on the line. They didn't want to throw the ball to Kittle with the game on the line. They want to throw it to him 17 times all game, but not on the crucial play. I mean, I know he fumbled on the previous play, but it's George Kittle. He never does that. You got to give him another chance. Or someone else. So I really like this play. It was a really clever way to pick up 1 yard. I'm surprised Kyle Shanahan couldn't come back to it or a version of it later on. Let's go to the 4th quarter because I'm not done making my point. Let's see. Hold on. Okay. 10, 12. Second and goal from the 2. So this time he needs 2 yards. Notice he's got use check right here this time. Little play fake. This block right here. Kittel gets a little piece of Deion Jones, who's covering the fullback right here. It's like a little pick in basketball. It's legal the way Kittel does it. Easy. Great play. Perfect. Works 9 times out of 10. I'm sure Shanahan has a bunch of these type of plays. He also has an excellent short yardage running back in Jeff Wilson Jr. They have the number 2 running game in the league. So many options on 4th and 1. Kicking the field goal was not one of the good ones. Not one of the best ones. Surprising. All right, let's go to the second quarter here. 2 minutes left. Almost halftime. Really good play here. Here we go. Where is Kittel? Here. Play action. Garoppolo fronts out, meaning he doesn't turn his entire back to the defense. This is an easier way to do play action for the quarterback because he gets to see. He doesn't have to. He gets to see the defense a little bit more with his peripheral vision. Backing out is turning this way. Fronting out is turning this way. You get to keep more of your eyes on the defense. Fronting out, play fake, whips his head back around real quick. Now he sees. Here's Kittel. Covered man-to-man by a linebacker, as it was most of the game. That's a mismatch. This guy can't cover him. That's a 20-yard gain. Play action. Kyle Shanahan waited until almost halftime to call this play. Should have been the first play of the game, or the second, or the third. This was open all game, and they only went to it once. I don't get it. I mean, that's not the 49ers. I don't want to be like too alarmist about this loss because I don't think Kyle Shanahan will ever coach like this again. To me, it was like he felt they didn't need to win this game and kind of coached it like real close to the vest and conservative, like a preseason game. I don't want to show too much. I don't want to, we don't need to, I don't even know. It's just, this is so not him. You wait till 2 minutes left in the first half to call this play when it's open all game and you don't come back to it. It's a 20-yard gain. You're in love with explosive plays. This was an explosive play you could have had every single time, basically. And you only did it once? I don't get it. Great play. Come back to it. I expect they will do this a whole lot of times if they continue to see this 4 linebacker front designed to take away the run and sort of concede catches to Kittel. Let's have to, instead of throwing Kittel so many screens and underneath stuff, throw the ball down the field. I mean, it was cool. Basically, the Falcons were conceding catches to Kittel to take away the run game, and the Niners said, okay, well, we're going to throw Kittel a bunch of screens and stuff. And Kittel had a great game, but he would have been more dangerous had he gotten some more opportunities down the field. All right. Like that. Great play. Now let's do the Debo Samuel play that I really liked. 337. Here. A lot of pre-snap motion that's cool. Here's Samuel. Goes in motion. This guy follows him. It's man-to-man coverage. But Samuel wants to run back here on a underneath route in a play action. So instead of just lining up Samuel here, Shanahan's cool with this. Instead of just having Samuel, he's basically playing tight end. That's where Kittel would line up a lot of the time to run this same route. This is the play action bootleg come around here with this guy coming underneath. They ran this to Sanders in the game. They ran it for Kittel. It's kind of like a screen pass, basically. Instead of just having Debo line up at tight end and sort of tip off the play and have all these Falcons change their coverage or alert themselves to what's coming, you put Debo Samuel in motion first and get this guy moving so he's not static. Now he has to go over here, get lined up correctly, and if you don't get lined up correctly, you pretty much have no chance of defending a play in football, and then react. Make it a little bit more difficult on this guy. And what you see is he never fully gets lined up and set before the play. And now, on a race to right here, Debo Samuel's here, and this guy's over here, and he has to navigate all this. I mean, that's all created by Kyle Shanahan. Could have just had him stand there to begin with, but motioning him there creates this confusion, late reaction, and now you got a race to the sideline that he's going to lose. He's definitely going to lose. Look at how far behind he is. That's all created by Kyle Shanahan. Then you got Debo Samuel catching the ball 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage and turning it upfield. He's fast. It's a nice play to it's actually, this is the guy you want to throw this pass to, even more so than Kittle, because Debo Samuel's faster. I'm not sure George Kittle would have gained that many yards on this play. He would have gained probably 15. Debo gained an extra 10. Nice play. Love that one. And then finally, I want to give Robert Saleh some love on his defense because he's getting crushed right now, and he actually coached a pretty good game for most of it. Let's go to the second quarter when his defense was still somewhat fresh. 2:44. This was 3rd and 7. I like Robert Saleh's pressure packages on 3rd down most of the time. Here we go. Let's check it from the back end. You got, first of all, Bosa, Armstead, Buckner, all on the same side. You're 3 guys. I like that. That's pretty cool. Now you can use them together. What the Niners have been doing so far this year is spreading them out as wide as possible, and it helps some of them get one-on-one matchups, but they're not helping each other. Like, you don't see Buckner and Armstead and Bosa doing twists and stunts the way that Aldon Smith and Justin Smith used to do under Vic Fangio, and those twists and stunts made Justin Smith and Aldon Smith even more effective. Saleh can do the same thing with Bosa and Armstead and Buckner, and he does it here. This is 3rd and 7. Buckner and Armstead go inside and basically are just blocking for Bosa, who comes around and almost hits Matt. Well, it does hit Matt Ryan. Forces an errant pass, almost intercepted. Great call. Do it more often. I love it. 3 guys on the same side. And what you see with Buckner all year is basically giving himself up to create space for other people. He doesn't complain about it. He's a pro. He deserves a lot of money. Hell of a player. Good play by Bosa, too. Now let's go to Jimmy. He had a couple good plays. Good Jimmy made an appearance. It was brief. And it was subtle. I mean, he wasn't like throwing huge passes down the field. But I thought this was nice right here, considering he didn't have much protection in this game. Let's look at it from over here. This is 1st and 10. Watch 99. Mike Person's going to try to pull and block him right here. This is the right guard. Claiborne just moves him back big time. Bull rushes him. Garoppolo doesn't go down. He spins out of it somehow. He's good at that. And then he's got this guy coming unblocked. Grady Jarrett makes him miss. I mean, this is a guy who clearly didn't always play quarterback. He looks like he has big-time courage, like a running back. Let's watch it one more time, if I can. I mean, Mike Person, yeesh, not a good game. But for Garoppolo not to go down and to spin out of that and then make this cut on his surgically repaired left knee, that's not bad. That is good Jimmy. That is nimble Jimmy. Shockingly agile Jimmy. How did you get out of that one, Jimmy? I like that. Good Jimmy. And I got another one. This one was clutch, I thought. This was 2 minutes left in the game, just before Kyle Shanahan lost his nerve and didn't go for it on 4th down. This was 2nd and 8. This is a quarterback who didn't lose his nerve. Game on the line, doesn't panic under pressure, doesn't throw the ball away, doesn't take a sack. He finds a way to make a play that should be a terrible play somewhat positive. Drops back. Looked like Sanders was open for a second, but he's under pressure. Sanders comes open here. Maybe you could throw that ball, but he tries to. He almost gets hit. He doesn't want to throw the ball into coverage. Now he scrambles to his left, which is tough for a right-handed quarterback. Flips his shoulders and throws this pass for a 4-yard gain. Keeps the Niners ahead of the chain, sets up 3rd and 4. It's a nice play. I mean, one more time. The throw where he looks like Ozzie Smith fielding a ball at shortstop right over the second base, picking it up and throwing to first base while falling into right field. Really nice. As a former baseball player who could not make this throw, I really envy someone who can. This is beautiful. That's like Brandon Crawford, Ozzie Smith, Omar Vizquel. That's really cool. Derek Jeter. Okay, enough of good Jimmy. Let's go to bad Jimmy. Bad Jimmy. Moving on. This one made we hadn't seen him in a couple of weeks, but he made an appearance, which is he's a young quarterback. Everyone wants to call him elite. He's not elite. He doesn't have enough experience to be elite. Being elite means consistently being good for years and years and years. You have overcome every adjustment the league has had to throw at you. He hasn't played long enough. We can determine if he's elite down the line. Don't make the same mistake we all made with Colin Kaepernick and overreact to a good season or two, because he's still learning. You really shouldn't judge him one way or another. He's still learning. He's basically 23, even though he's 28. So here we go. What do we got? 2nd and 19. Debo Samuel out here going to run a slant versus off-man coverage. And Garoppolo's just going to throw a bad pass. Just going to miss him. He doesn't bring his back foot around. This is all upper body, which means there's going to be less accuracy, a less repeatable motion, and then the throw is just way out in front. I mean, it's not like there was a mistiming issue he saw. Here's Debo Samuel making his break. Jimmy Garoppolo still has the ball. He should be able to judge where to throw this ball. And normally he would stick it. Oh, come on, dude. I don't know what's up with NFL Jesus. It slows down all the time. All right. Here. Come on, guy. Look for him from over here. He just misses his throw. Could have been picked. So this is the first near pick of the game for bad Jimmy. He just misses this one. He threw that one to the defensive back. Anyway, bad Jimmy number 1. Let's go to the second quarter. 7:01. This is first play of the drive, 1st and 10 at the Niners 25. This is one of the first shot plays of the game. They hadn't thrown the ball down the field at all. Oh, wait. No, wait. Nope. Hold on. Hold the phone. 7:01. 7:01. What are you talking about, dude? Here we go. Lost it. Oh, well. Moving on. One less bad Jimmy. Maybe he didn't deserve it. This is at the goal line. I was talking about that one where he forced the ball into triple coverage to Emmanuel Sanders, and it should have gone to I'm going to look real quick for it. But this one. This throw to Kittel. This is another one that should have been picked. You throw it right to the DB. Kittel has to come back and play it like a DB. Break the pass up, basically. You're throwing that one to the DB. I guess you could say, hey, you gave your guy a chance, but there's not a whole lot of precision here. You're just throwing the ball up, and there's no loft underneath it. It's a straight line to the defensive back who has perfect position. That's bad Jimmy. Let me look one more time real quick for that pass that you remember it. He threw it into basically quadruple coverage to Emmanuel Sanders. It was an RPO. Kittel was open. Man. Let me see. Incomplete. Man. Oh, yeah. Here we go. 6:32. Here we go. Got it. All right. Sorry about that. Here's Kittel. Here's Sanders. See? Let's take it back. Kittle's running to open space. Sanders isn't. when he throws this ball, Kittle's open. Sanders isn't. He's got 4 guys around him. Here. That's a bad read. Almost intercepted. That's the 3rd near pick of the game for Jimmy Garoppolo. He gets lucky with these. A lot of people talk about the drops he's had this season, but geez, that's a dangerous pass. The ball is right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys around him. That's dangerous. One more. 3rd quarter. $12:53. Okay, this is 3rd and 5. Usually Jimmy Garoppolo's good on 3rd down, but sometimes he predetermines where he wants to go. This time he decides he wants to go to Kittle no matter what. It's going to be cover 2, meaning there'll be 5 underneath defenders and 2 deep ones. Let's see if anyone else is open. So Kittle runs this 2-yard route right in front of the sticks. You got Debo Samuel wide open right here. Yeah, Debo Samuel is open. But he was on the other side of the field, and Jimmy wasn't looking that direction. He decided he wanted to go to Kittle. Even though the Falcons are playing with these 2 underneath defenders, and there was nowhere for Kittle to go. Bracketed basically inside and outside. Great runner after the catch, but 2 guys there to tackle him. You don't have to throw that ball. Was there time in the pocket? Let's see. There sure was. He could have not thrown that. Stepped up. Looked left. Hit Debo Samuel over the middle. Converted. Now, not the end of the world, but it's the mark of where he needs to progress. He still is predetermining his reads sometimes. He's not reading the entire field. If he sees Kittle, I think a big reason Kittle got so many targets is Jimmy Garoppolo didn't fully go through his progressions that often. If he was the primary guy, he threw to Kittle most of the time, even if he had someone open downfield like Debo Samuel, who is also a good player, although I understand not throwing to Debo, I guess, because sometimes his gloves aren't on. I mean, geez, I'm going to get to Debo in a second. But now, stock up. All the players and things whose stock rose after that game. I'm starting with the Sun. This is the second time the Sun has played really good defense at Levi's Stadium. Look at this. This is the biggest home field advantage at Levi's, this thing here. It happens in the first half. There is this big piece of sun, big piece of shade, and it's at an angle. You see, look at the shadows. They're at a 45-degree angle, meaning it is damn near impossible to throw the ball this way. If he's running a slant and the ball's coming this way, he's not going to see it because his eyes are in the sun. You got to be throwing over here if you're going this direction. The Niners know this. They know how to throw the ball at Levi's Stadium between 1 and 2:30 in the afternoon. Other teams don't. I mean, the Falcons made this mistake here. The Cardinals made the mistake earlier this season. They're going to run a slant to Julio Jones who's at the top of the screen. And the Sun's going to break this pass up. I mean, Greenlaw is going to come close, but it's the Sun. I mean, you can see he reacts like he can't see it at the, oh, come on. What is with NFL Jesus making me do that all the time? 8:53. I got to have a word with NFL Jesus. I got to have a word with them. It's just constantly timing out. All right, look from over here. The Sun. Teams don't really do enough. Like, they scout the teams. You got to scout the environment, too. You got to know you can't throw these passes in the first quarter, second quarter. You can't. You got to flip it over and run the same route, just flip the route. Flip the formation. Do it from over here. Put Julio Jones over here and run the slant over here. It would have worked. We would have had a better chance. Instead, you let the Sun break the pass up. This is the home field advantage at Levi's because it's not the sound. It's the quietest place in the league. Okay, that's enough of the Sun, though. That's the only play the Sun made. Let's go to Raheem Mostert. Had a quiet game. Didn't average 4 yards a carry, but I don't believe he did. But he made some really nice runs. And again, remember, the Niners were running into a sellout to stop the run defensive front with 4 linebackers and 4 defensive linemen most of the time. So none of these running backs were going to have a big game. But Mostert had a couple of really nice runs. Let's look at it from over here, actually. Here he is in the backfield. Should have been the starter. Should get most of the work. Shouldn't be splitting carries with Tevin Coleman. Anyway, look at Mostert. Gets outside, which Tevin Coleman never wants to do. First of all, Tevin Coleman would have cut this one back right here. He would have cut that back inside of Juszczyk. Mostert's really fast, trusts his speed, gets outside. Now he's going to cut back. Makes 97 miss. That's a beautiful cut from a guy who some people say is just a gunner. He's actually pretty elusive. Gains 8. The speed to get outside and then the quickness to shake Grady Jarrett. It's a nice run. It's not a great run. It's a really nice run. Who we got? Oh, yeah. One more for Mostert because you got to show love. You got to show love to Mostert. People waiting for him to fall. People look at him as like kind of Cinderella. He's had 3 good games, 4 good games. He's not the real deal. I think he is. He makes some moves that make me feel like he's a tremendous asset to the team, not just a one-hit wonder or a one-month wonder. Well, that guy's should have been offside. He jumps the snap, hand off to Mostert. Looks like he's about to get tackled by 3 guys, bounces outside. Beautiful cut. He's got 4 guys around him. Makes that guy dive and miss. He's more elusive than he gets credit for, and he usually gets 2 to 3 yards after contact. He's a quality running back. You can also throw to him. He's an asset. What a lucky turn of events that the Niners had this guy. They inherited him from Chip Kelly. Excellent player. Let's go to Kittel. I mean, we don't have to. I usually kind of gloss over Kittel because he's so good, but when people watch these videos 100 years from now and they're looking at this excellent season from the Niners, they'll say, geez, Grant really didn't talk about Kittel, and Kittel had a historic season, so let's give him his props. This is the first play of the second half. Again, I was saying, give him the ball down the field, give him some opportunities to actually score touchdowns, don't make him run through the whole defense. I understand why they make him run through the whole defense, because he can do stuff like this. I mean, look how he just runs over that guy. Poor guy. That's a strong safety. Here he goes. Yikes. He really tried, though. I mean, he really, really tried. Give him credit. But, yeah, these are the kind of plays that George Kittle puts on tape every week. He's a lot of fun to watch. One more. Second quarter, I want to show you a block. You got to show a Kittel block. And a lot of people saying he's a great blocker. He's a terrific blocker, but he's not the same as Gronkowski or some of the bigger tight ends from the past. He usually blocks linebackers and safeties. He's a little bit undersized for a tight end, a little bit. I mean, he's 6'4", 250. Gronkowski was 270 pounds. He's not quite big enough to block or move big defensive linemen, but he's great against linebackers and safeties. Just overpowering. Here he is here. Takes this guy, moves him all the way back, and he's not done. Oh. Gives him a little kiss. Tells him he loves him. Yikes. And then, give McGlinchey credit too. Right? I was pretty hard on McGlinchey a few weeks ago, his first game back from injury. He's been really good since then. I got nothing negative to say about Mike McGlinchey. That's a great run block right there. This is why the Niners like McGlinchey, because he can do stuff like that. You put him and Kittel and Juszczyk on the same side, that's a lot of good run blocking right there. And Mostert just kind of walks in. Well, he takes a big hit, but still, they created the lane. Good blocking from Kittel. Moving on. Who we got next? Armstead. The defensive line isn't what it used to be. They're worn down, but Armstead's still playing really hard. He's going to get that contract come hell or high water. He's going to get that contract. Let me show you why. 816. Where you at? Yeah. Like, Nick Bosa's wearing down a little bit right now, which is understandable. All rookies do. Armstead is in his 5th year. He's not about to let that happen. Here he is right here. This is 2nd and 4. In the red zone. Armstead against a tight end. He's one of the best in the league at this. Some team is going to pay him $85 million, $100 million to be Buckner and play defensive tackle, which is a mistake. He's a defensive end, and when you put him against a tight end, he's just overpowering. He doesn't play with the low pad level of Buckner, which I don't think he'd be as good of a defensive tackle, but as a D end, look at this. That's a blocking specialist tight end, a grown man. He throws aside and makes the tackle. Eric Armstead, hell of a strong side D end. A hell of a strong side D end. That's his position. Someone's going to pay him to be a defensive tackle, thinking that he could play that, but Buckner's in the way. Nope, that's a mistake. Make him be out here, put him against tight ends, and let him just blow plays up because he's really good at it. Boom! To do my John Madden. Boom! All right. That's enough. Armstead, Contavious Street, the new nose tackle. Solomon Thomas got the start. They need to stop playing Solomon Thomas because everyone's better than him. There are probably guys on the practice squad who are better than Solomon Thomas. Seriously. This was Contavious Street's first game in the NFL. Watch this play. Here. Street is right here. Nose tackle. Watch what he does to Alex Mack, former All-Pro. Little old, but one of the best centers in the league. First game in the league. 95. That's some power. That's some power. Pushes Alex Mack all the way back into Matt Ryan. Let's see from over here. He's got a future. If he can stay healthy, there is a role for a nose tackle who can push around Alex Mack. That bodes well for the Niners going forward. It means they don't have to play Solomon Thomas all these snaps. No great defense has Solomon Thomas on the field most of the time. They don't need to play him that much. Play your best guys. Contavious Street's in the conversation. That's a real nose tackle. Okay, Sheldon Day, last guy. Another guy who should be playing over Solomon Thomas. I'm going to show you a sack from the third quarter, 10:46. Right here. Just really good quickness. Stuff you don't see from Solomon Thomas. This is the four-man line they should be using in pass rush situations. Armstead and Bosa outside. Buckner and Sheldon Day inside. Watch from over here. Sheldon Day right here going against Wes Schweitzer. And he's in the A-gap, which was my beef about. I mean, this was what Robert Saleh should have lined up with on that play where on the final drive. This should have been his defensive line on the final drive. Armstead outside, not a defensive tackle. Buckner and Sheldon Day inside and Bosa outside as well. Instead of moving Armstead inside and having Solomon Thomas out there, what are you gaining from Solomon Thomas? Nothing. Sheldon Day's better. Put him in the A-gap here, right between the guard and the center, not outside the guard. And watch what he does. He's really quick. He's tough to block. 71. Gives him a little shimmy shake to the inside. And he's like holding him right now. That's basically holding. And he gets the sack. He should play more. This guy reminds me, it's like the Ronald Blair situation from last year. Ronald Blair was clearly better than Solomon Thomas, but they didn't give him the playing time. They didn't recognize it for a long time. Well, Sheldon Day's in the same situation. This guy's an asset. Play him. Don't just have him play 15, 20 snaps a game. He should be taking Solomon Thomas' snaps along with Contavious Street. Street should be the base nose run defender, and then Sheldon Day should be the pass rush nose tackle on third down. That's the way I see it. Now let's get to the stock down section. I'm going to do the entire offensive line. I'm not going to single any one guy out on the offensive line, but I'm going to go person by person, starting with Joe Staley. This was the second play of the game. Talk about coming out flat. Here's Staley. Right here. And this is what I've seen from him since last year, not just this year. He's older. He can't really change directions. He's not as fluid as he used to be. He's threatened by 44 speed. So he kick slides outside really, really hard and leaves himself vulnerable to the inside and can't change directions quickly enough. Really, really threatened by his speed. So 44 gives him just one little inside move, and Staley's done. This is someone the Niners need to consider cutting next year. I'm sorry, Joe. You've had a great career, but you're making a lot of money, and you're not playing like you deserve it. The Niners are going to need to re-sign Eric Armstead. Bunch of people. George Kittle, they're going to have to give him an extension, and the money's going to have to come from somewhere because they don't have a lot of cap space left. And I think maybe cutting Joe Staley is something they need to consider doing. Because I've been hard on Richard Sherman, but Sherman's playing better than Staley. Let's be clear. Sherman doesn't have plays like these. All right, let's go to the second quarter. Now let's get to Ben Garland. Made his first start with the Niners. Had a couple of good plays, but this was troubling here. Okay. 3rd and 5. It's a 4-man rush, but it looks like a blitz. Watch 63 and 68. So you get these 4 guys rushing. He's going to come in here. He drops. And you get 3 guys overloading. 63 doesn't know what he's doing. He needs to see right now that he's dropping. He needs to come over here. There's an overload blitz. He's still looking to the left. I don't know what he's looking for. This is inexperience or I don't know. You see the guy dropping. Look over here. They're coming over here. If he had come over here, picked this guy up, then 68 could have picked this guy up, and Jimmy Garoppolo could have gotten this, not had to throw this ball away. But Richburg would have had more awareness. He's a more experienced player. He would have came over right here, picked this guy up, allowed 68 to slide over and pick up the blitzer, and the protection would have held up, but it didn't because of young Garland, although he's 30 years old. This is going to be the Niners' center the rest of the year. If they win the Super Bowl, it's with him. So he needs to improve big time, and that wasn't really a physical issue. That was more a lack of experience or a mental lapse, whatever you want to call it. Third quarter, let's go to Laken Tomlinson. Their best offensive lineman, probably. Although, he has his moments. Here. He got let off the hook on this one because of the roughing the passer penalty. Right here. Going against Grady Jarrett, who's a really good player, but not as good as Aaron Donald, who the Niners are going to face next week. Leaning forward, not a very athletic pose. Usually you want to be bending at the knees, not at the waist. Bending at the waist, leaning forward, lunging, loses balance, gets beat quick. Big hit on Garoppolo. They call this roughing the quarterback, so the play doesn't count, but that's still getting beat. That's still a hit on Garoppolo that he feels. That's bad offensive line play. Garoppolo didn't play well in this game, but he didn't have much time. Let's go to Person. Third quarter, 7:34. Here. It's the right guard. Here. Again, going against Grady Jarrett. Imagine what Aaron Donald's going to do next week against the Niners, who've only had 6 days to prepare, 6 days to rest. Grady Jarrett, Mike Person. Ooh, that's a whiff. Tackle for loss, -6. Grady Jarrett's really good. Aaron Donald's better. The Niners have issues on their offensive line, and it's not just Grady Jarrett, as you can see. Person's a little shaky. Laken Tomlinson's a little shaky. Joe Staley's more than a little shaky. Mike McGlinchey's probably their best offensive lineman right now. I want to show one play that they blocked really well. It was the Coleman long run at the end of the first half. Here. Coleman, anyone would have gained a lot of yards on this play. Sorry, Coleman. This was really, really well blocked. Let's see. Okay. Starts with Garland, really. Watch Garland, the center. 63. Takes this guy and puts him on the ground. Just ends him right there. Hold on. Oh, let's see it from the other angle because you'll see it better. Okay. 63 puts this guy on the ground, which creates the cutback lane. Boom. Nice block, Ben Garland. Better run blocker than pass blocker, clearly. They have him in here because he can do this type of conga line, outside zone, running down the line, blocking. Not because he's great in pass protection, but also watch McGlinchey has a nice block here, 69. Going to push this guy down. Almost like a block in the back, but it works. They don't call it. And Coleman follows his blocks for a change. Goes right in here behind McGlinchey. You got Mike Person sealing there. Nice block from Laken Tomlinson here. All of them blocked really well. So they can block well, especially in the run game. Maybe it was just a little bit tough against a good defensive line and playing with the new center for the first time. They should improve. Wasn't all bad. Okay, let's go to another stock down. Nick Bosa, first quarter. I only got two plays. I'm not going to be real ticky-tack, showing him falling down and stuff. though I could. But I just want to show you, I got nothing. Look, I respect Nick Bosa. He's had a terrific rookie season. He's a better player than I thought he'd be. He hasn't gotten hurt. He's played every game. He's actually played a lot of snaps this season. I didn't think he would. I mean, Joey Bosa doesn't really do that kind of stuff, or at least I don't think he does. Anyway, Nick Bosa, he's getting tired. He's wearing down. It's not his fault. He's a rookie. This is what the Niners are working with right here. Hold on. So, 3rd and 4. This is the first quarter. What's up? All right, 3rd and 4. This is the first quarter. This is 12-13 the first quarter, like the first drive. This is what Nick Bosa is now. He's right here. Just watch the effort. I'm not saying he's dogging it. He was like the most energetic, powerful player in the league, it felt like, the first 2 months. That was never going to keep up. He's never played this many snaps in his life in 1 year. Still a good player, but he's just not the same impact player that he was in October. I mean, he'll get there eventually. He doesn't stay blocked like Solomon Thomas, but he was just destroying people the first 2 months of the year. This is going against their right guard, Caleb McGarry. Not even their right tackle, Caleb McGarry. Not even their left tackle, Jake Matthews, the better player. And Bosa's pretty much stalemated. Still a good player, but you can see the fatigue, how he's worn down. He's a rookie. They talk about the rookie wall. This is it. Give him credit for battling. A lot of players took this game off. I mean, Richard Sherman said he could have played, but if they needed this game. Well, Nick Bosa did play, even though they technically didn't need it, according to Richard Sherman, and I give him credit for that. He was pissed after the game, Nick Bosa, and I'd be too. Playing 68 snaps and having to go through all that and still losing. He looked really upset. I get it. Let's go one more play from Nick Bosa, 3rd quarter, 4-13. Again, I'm not saying he's a bad player. This is fatigue. This is why, when you're wondering what's up with, what am I talking about? Oh, wait. I'm going to have to show this one later. It's the Ryan scramble for 9. Here, boom. Okay, so this is right. This is right after Nick Bosa's sack. Nick Bosa's sack. Should I show Nick Bosa's sack? I guess I'll show Nick Bosa's sack real quick because he gets credit for it. But the way I looked at it was, see that? So good play. But now let's go to the next one. That's Nick Bosa battling through exhaustion and playing well despite being tired. This is the next play. Exhaustion adds up. It doesn't go away. It only accumulates, and he's going to be even worse next week. He's only got 6 days to rest and prepare. Here he is right here. It's a cool little play. I mean, this is going to be actually a nice design from Robert Saleh. Nick Bosa lined up as an A-gap inside linebacker blitzer, takes 2 steps inside, loops to the outside, and is going to get a free direct shot on Matt Ryan right there. And miss. 2 months ago, he doesn't miss that. It's Matt Ryan. It's not Kyler Murray or Russell Wilson. That's what everyone was saying. Oh, well, Nick Bosa, I mean, he's going against these really mobile quarterbacks and he's missing, but he's still winning his rushes. Yes, he is. And here he gets a free shot, although he's not winning a rush. This was a schemed pressure by Robert Saleh. You gotta get a statue like Matt Ryan when you have him dead to rights like this. I mean, if I showed you this picture, would you say, is Matt Ryan going down or not? Is he going down or not? Is he going down or not? You let that juke you? That? Nothing against Nick Bosa, good player. It's just he's tired. Given all the effort he has, he's going to have to dig down deep and find some adrenaline because this just isn't enough. The Niners need much more for him. They need him to be Michael Strahan in his prime, not rookie Nick. They need him to play like he's really the 30-year-old he played like he was in October. He's playing like a rookie right here. A very, very good rookie who's tired. Enough of him. Tevin Coleman. Tevin Coleman has no excuse. This guy's different. Bosa's tired. Coleman's just not good. Or I don't know. Let's see. First quarter, I got a few Tevin Coleman plays. He just kept showing up. Here we go. So this is 3rd and 15. First drive of the game. It's going to be a little swing pass to Tevin Coleman. And he's not going to even get his head around quickly enough. You talk about coming out flat. A lot of it was Coleman trying to get him the ball. Oh, I did it again. I'm sorry. Hold on. It's 3rd down, not the 1st down. Dude, what are you doing? Here, 3rd down, here. Not my best effort today. I'm sorry. The Niners got a short week, and I'm cramming too. I got to be down at Shanahan talks in 2 hours. Okay. 3rd and 15. Coleman swing pass in the flat. Garoppolo looking at him all the way. You're the primary receiver, dude. Get your head around. Doesn't do it. Can we see it from the back? He's just looking over here. He's just like jogging through the route like the ball's not coming to him. Doesn't get his head around. Let's stop. So he's throwing it now. I mean, the ball's there. He's coming out. Still like thinking about maybe getting his head around. Doesn't get his head around until now. And the ball's here. And now he's surprised, even though he's the number one. He's the primary receiver in the pattern. Ball's coming to you, buddy. You say the Niners started flats because they had to do stuff like this. Enough of Tevin Coleman. Stop trying to feed him touches. He doesn't deserve it. Give him the same treatment you gave Dante Pettis and sit him down and say, this is a real Super Bowl run and we have better players and we're going with the best guys. Doesn't matter how much you're getting paid, period. All right, 2nd quarter, 107. Just seems like a waste of, every time he's on the field, it seems like a waste of a play. Why not just put Mostert in there or Breida? Not Breida. Fumbler. I'll get to Breida in a second. Or Jeff Wilson Jr. He hasn't fumbled in a long time. Let's see. 107. 2nd and 3. What am I seeing here? Okay. Again, hand off to Coleman in the red zone. That's a waste of a play. That's doing the Falcons a favor. This should be Mostert or Jeff Wilson Jr. or no one. But watch Coleman. I don't understand. He's been doing this a lot. Like, watch what he does here. Juszczyk is his lead blocker. Come on, buddy. I blew it. Juszczyk is the lead blocker. He goes over here. Coleman cuts back over here. Right into a body. Let's see it over here. Just follow your lead blocker, man. Here's Juszczyk. Go that way. What are you doing? What did you think you saw here? Or if you can, I mean, can you juke him and get all the way out? Can you bounce outside? What you see from Coleman in every run is this little stutter rock step thing here. I'll stop it right when he does it. Right here. That little hop step, this thing. And to me, that's just total indecision. What do you want to do? This is a one-cut system, not a jump, hop, step, and a skip and a jump system. You either cut way out here or you dive inside. Do something. Follow your linebacker. Don't hesitate like this. And he hesitates on most of his runs. I was asking Kyle Juszczyk in the locker room, what makes Raheem Mostert good? And he said, his decisiveness, which to me is code for, and that's what is hurting Tevin Coleman right now, this indecision right there. Do something. Don't do that. All right, more Coleman coming up right next. 3rd quarter. I got 4 Colemans. That's how, I mean, that's how egregious he was in this game. 13-22. 2nd and 7. Back in the game. I don't know why. In the shotgun. All right. Gets the ball here. There's a huge hole right here. Again, he does that little stutter rock step, which to me is just smacks of indecision. Right? There. Like one cut, dude. Not that. Not that dancing, shimmy, shake, back and forth thing where you go nowhere. I mean, let's look at it over here. There's a hole right there inside of the Joe Staley, and he runs into defenders. You could go out here. You can't go there. There's a guy right there. You see him, 44. You can't run right into him, and he keeps doing this. You're supposed to get to the edge. Raheem Mostert is always leveraging his speed. Tevin Coleman's always like slowing down and shimmying and trying to do a crossover. Or, dude, you got to run fast. You're a 4-4 runner. Don't jog to the hole. Don't make 4 cuts and then dive into an outside linebacker. Get to the edge. Or Mostert will, because Mostert can. I think you could have been able to get out here if you had actually pressed it and accelerated. Or in here. There were lanes. Coleman's not seeing him. He's being indecisive. They got to get him off the field. God forbid he did stuff like this in games that really, really counted. And then one more for good measure. Fourth quarter. Still in the game. Fourth quarter. 11:09. Still in the game. 3rd and 3. Niners up by 3. Coleman right here. Let's look for end zone. Right here. Look at this block. Terrible. And now he's holding him. That's a penalty. Throws him aside. Gets knocked over as a blocker and commits a holding penalty, which is even worse. And Garoppolo just has to throw the ball away. Again, shouldn't be on the field even as a blocker. That should be Juszczyk. That should be Wilson. That should be Mostert. Breida. Anyone. Can't be Coleman. Enough is enough. It's week 15 and you're still playing poorly. You've gotten enough shots. Just like Dante Pettis got a lot of shots, now you've gotten enough shots. Play the guy who's playing better because there are better options. And it's not Matt Breida. Jeez, he's coming off an injury, and I don't understand why he's playing like this. He used to be much more solid. This is a bad look. He fumbled twice in this game. He should have been benched after the first one because it foreshadowed the next one. The way he fumbled was troubling because no one touched him. Here. But you can see it on the television copy, but if I show you the television copy, I won't get any ad revenue. He's being tackled around the waist, the ball's hanging out in one hand right there, and it's just going to slip out. Right there. Slip out of his hand, it's not knocked out. He's holding it right there with his fingers. It's not wrapped up, he's holding it. Ball comes out. You could say maybe he was down. Still. Ball security is an issue. Ball rolls out of bounds. Troubling. And it foreshadowed a play that happened 4 plays later. This is, let's see, 3rd quarter, right before the 4th quarter, deep in a game that really, really, that is very close. An important game in December of a Super Bowl run. He's just fumbled near the sideline. Now he's running between the tackles, which is not a good call. I question Robert Saleh for playing Solomon Thomas. I got to question Kyle Shanahan for running Matt Breida between the tackles right after he'd fumbled. And again, he gets hit. He goes down. He's not covering the ball on the pile. He's kind of laying right there. He needs to be, he's done. This run is over. He needs to protect this ball with both hands. And his right arm is a little like caught over here. He can't get the right arm on it. And he's going down, and he allows them, as he's sort of laying right here on this guy right here, he allows the Falcons to take the ball away from him. Can't happen. Give the ball to Mostert or Wilson. As he's laying there, they take it from him. That's a bad look deep in an important game. Breida. Now let's go to Debo Samuel. This play was bizarre. Just bizarre. 4th quarter, they didn't take many shots downfield. This was one of them. You could see it on the broadcast. Here he's right here. Okay. He's going to be open. He's going to drop this ball. So he's running. He wears these receiving gloves, but he doesn't strap them. You've seen receivers do this. The left one comes off right there. He drops the ball. You got to have your gloves on, buddy. But beyond the glove, I want to show you his catching technique because there is no technique. And he's dropped a lot of balls this year. He's a really good player, terrific running back, really good with the ball in his hands, but catching the ball is an issue for him. It's not that he has bad hands. It's just that he has bad technique. Let's take this frame by frame. First of all, you can kind of see his glove falling off. It's like hanging by his fingertips, all right? But the ball comes, and look at his hands. You got one way up there and one way down here, and he's basically trying to trap the ball against his chest. That's not how they teach it. You're supposed to have your elbows tucked, your thumbs touching, your index fingers touching. You're making a diamond like this. Like this. You're supposed to have those four fingers touching. This is like he's got like a, I don't know like a mouse trap or something. So to me, he's a rookie. You understand a rookie with poor technique. What this says to me, this right here, which is no technique at all, that Wes Welker and Miles Austin are not doing their jobs. They're the wide receiver coaches. They don't have much experience. This is what their players are putting on tape. This means that in practice, discipline, technique, the finer points are not emphasized. God knows what they're doing. I think a big reason Dante Pettis has taken a step back this year and Debo Samuel has been inconsistent is because they don't have NFL caliber wide receiver coaches. The Niners need to get real ones this offseason before they get rid of Dante Pettis because he played well last year with Nick Mullins and before Wes Welker was on the team. This to me says they're not getting adequate coaching from their position coach. This isn't acceptable. This reflects more on the coach than on the player. He's a rookie. Got to get both hands up there, dude. Like, are they not coaching the basics? And if not, you need someone who does. I think the Niners strongly need to they need to fire or demote Wes Welker and Miles Austin and bring in someone with real experience to coach these wide receivers because they're all young and they need someone who knows what they're doing that isn't learning on the job. I feel very strongly about that. These young wide receivers are getting a lot of flack. And maybe we saw it with the defensive line. What a difference it makes when you bring in a real position coach who knows what he's doing, not a former player who is a celebrity. That's how I feel. Fourth quarter, 10:07. Robbie Gould. Extra point. Real quick. Slow motion. So you can see that the snap is fantastic. The hold is great. It's an extra point, and he just shanks it wide left. Look at him. Look at that look. That's the look of, man, am I losing it? I never used to miss these kicks. Am I still good? This is, to me, a guy who is in anguish about not just this kick, but this entire season. And this is another thing that is sort of under the radar right now. But if the Niners are going to win the Super Bowl, this guy's going to have to make some real clutch kicks. Can he do it? Or is he going to be this year's Cody Parkey? I don't think he will. But when he's missing stuff like this, just pulling it wide left, what's wrong? What is wrong, Robbie? Now, I'm going to finish off. I know I'm about an hour and 8 in. I got one more stock down, and I started with the entire offensive line. Now I'm going to finish with the entire defensive backfield. And I'm going to focus on the fourth quarter because that's when the defense fell apart. The defense played well most of the game, and then until it didn't. The final 5 minutes, basically, starting with the Keller Witherspoon. I could show you 4 or 5 clips of a Keller Witherspoon getting beat, but I won't. One is enough. But what I want to show you, what I'm going to show you here, happened 4 times in this game, 3 or 4 times. Saleh really believes in Witherspoon. The Niners believe that Witherspoon is a future number 1 corner in the league, if not a number 1 corner right now. Saleh trusted him to go man-to-man against Julio Jones. That's a lot of trust from Robert Saleh. Here, Jones is in the slot. Keller Witherspoon, man-to-man, press coverage, bump and run. You got to touch him. You got to get your hands on him and not give up the inside. Force him to the outside. Use the sideline as an extra defender because you don't have help to the inside. It's man-to-man coverage. In zone coverage, you have help to the inside. To me, this is just passive and a little scared. He's on his heels. He's rocking backward. He doesn't even try to engage Julio Jones. He gives up the inside instantly rocking backwards. And now it's a race across the field, and he's 2 steps behind. It's over right now. The play's over. He's beat. All because he gave up the inside man-to-man coverage. Not a lot of confidence here from Keller Witherspoon. Richard Sherman, bless his heart, 31 years old, would never be backing up like that. He'd be in the guy's face, slowing him down long enough to get Matt Ryan to look another direction. I mean, Robert Saleh had a lot more confidence in Ahkello Witherspoon than Ahkello Witherspoon had in Ahkello Witherspoon. This is not a confident quarterback right here. Now he has to run all the way around here. He pretty much gives up, lets Jimmy Ward come in. Not the best look. That's a gain of 15 on 3rd and 5 in the fourth quarter. Did not reward Robert Saleh's trust in him. And I'm telling you, this happened 3 or 4 times in the game. If you watch it, you know. Every time Julio Jones was on Ahkello Witherspoon, Jones didn't try to beat him up the field because Witherspoon has the size and the speed to run with him and pin him against the sideline, but he doesn't have the strength to stop or the confidence, aggressiveness to stop him running a shallow crossing route, man-to-man coverage. Beat him 3 or 4 times with that. Check it out. But I want to go to now late in the game, fourth quarter, 111. Let's go to the final drive because a lot of people were crushing Saleh for it, and I felt he really did. I liked most of his calls, except for the allowing Matt Ryan to run for those 9 yards. I thought that was on Saleh. But I liked most of his calls, and I'll show you what went wrong. This was 2nd and 2 from the 49ers 49. You got Jimmy Ward covering Julio Jones. We've already established that Ahkello Witherspoon can't do it. Emmanuel Moseley can't do it. He gave up the long catch to Julio Jones in the first quarter. So now you're trying Jimmy Ward. You got to try something. You got Richard Sherman's not playing. And again, very, very passive, not aggressive, no confidence, backpedaling. Just gives up an easy cut over the middle. And then bad tackle by Marcel Harris. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that got Tavarius Moore benched. Tavarius Moore was actually making plays, but he missed tackles like that and got benched. Anyway, not the best coverage from a former cornerback, Jimmy Ward, who's had a solid year and he's a good tackler, but he's not a playmaker. He's not got great in coverage. The Niners could definitely upgrade this spot. They shouldn't just automatically give him a 5-year deal worth $25 million. They can get a better player. They try to use him as this jack of all trades, a guy who can come down and be a nickelback in certain situations or a cornerback. He can't do it. They really, really miss Jaquiski Tartt right now. Now, later on in the same drive, the next play after this was the scramble for Matt Ryan, but this really set up the Falcons in scoring position. Let's go. 29 seconds left in the game. Now it's Mosley's turn. He's probably the best of their corner. I mean, he's played better than Ahkello Witherspoon since Witherspoon got hurt, from what I've seen. And I've shown you guys what I've seen. But in this play, this is another cornerback being hesitant against Julio Jones. This is, what's the coverage? Let's talk about it. The coverage is, I like this call. This is cover 3, cloud, meaning instead of having the deep defenders being your 2 corners and the free safety, you keep this corner down underneath. Your underneath guys are 1, 2, 3, 4, and your deep guys are 1 corner and 2 safeties. I mean, it's a minor adjustment, but what happens is Julio Jones is going to run a route right to where this cloud corner is chilling, right in the flat. And so it's a perfect call from Robert Saleh. He anticipates the route. He puts a cloud corner right where Julio Jones is, and this should be at worst a pass breakup, maybe even an interception. But Moseley, who's in the right position, just hesitates. Watch. The route's coming right to him. He's in perfect position. Now you got Matt Ryan. His eyes are on him. He sees Matt Ryan's about to throw here, and he just doesn't react. Watch. Just doesn't react. Still back here. Late reaction. Good play call by Robert Saleh. That should have been a pass breakup. You put a cloud corner right into an outbreaking route. That's checkmate. But your cornerback, who's a rookie, not a rookie, but a second-year guy and not a full-time starter, just doesn't trigger, doesn't go when he's supposed to. He's got that little back step there and that little hop, and it's over. Emmanuel Moseley. So now you get the ball at the 5-yard line, but the Niners haven't lost yet. Robert Saleh and the defense still can win the game. Let's show where they lose it. Final play. Okay. Julio Jones. Bracket coverage. Here. and here, inside, outside. They put him in motion. Now they're going to bracket him with Mosley and Marcel Harris. Double coverage. It's what you have to do. When the Niners didn't blitz because the guy who would have been blitzing was double covering Julio Jones. It's the right call. You have to double Julio Jones at the goal line. The ball's going to him. So what you got is, let's see. This is the alignment. It's supposed to be like this. Marcel Harris on the goal line. Emmanuel Mosley right here. If Julio Jones cuts out, Mosley's there. If he cuts in, Harris is there. You're not supposed to be able to get even a throw off to him. But what happens is Harris backs up, ends up going 1 yard deep, 2 yards deep, 3 yards deep. Now he's not aligned properly. And 90% of defense is being in the right position before the snap. Julio Jones cuts to the inside, and he's just not in a position to even make a play. Not in a position to make a play. Too deep pre-snap. He's over here. Now, that's what Kyle Shanahan said, that the inside, we had him bracketed, the inside defender was just too deep. And I agree with Kyle Shanahan because this is what it's supposed to look like. I'll show you. A couple of plays earlier, first and goal from the 5, the Falcons basically tried the same exact thing. Here's Julio Jones out here. Here's the tight end. Here's the bracket coverage, inside and outside. And look where Marcel Harris is, on the line. Double coverage. Matt Ryan looks that way, can't throw. Almost gets sacked by Eric Armstead, throws the ball away at the last second. If had Armstead got him down, the Niners would have won. That would have been the end of the game. That's how close the Niners defense and Robert Saleh was to closing it out and getting checkmate right here. They had the proper bracket coverage. It was the right call. They executed it correctly. Eric Armstead, who's having a hell of a year, makes this play. They almost win. It's almost intentional grounding. I mean, real close. That's how close the Niners were to winning this game. But the key, Marcel Harris lined properly on the goal line, in position to take away the in-breaking stuff. They smother him. That's what it's supposed to look like. That's why they lost. I think Saleh basically called the right play at the end, bracketing Julio Jones. When a guy beats bracket coverage, double coverage, hard to blame the coordinator. You got to blame the defender who only had one job. Don't let him beat you to the inside. He beat you to the inside. The good news for the Niners, Marcel Harris is not a starter long term. Jaquiski Tartt's coming back. Richard Sherman's coming back. K'Wan Williams is coming back. This is not the defense that they're going to be using the rest of the season. This is a B-team defense that they should be able to get back to their A-team mostly in the playoffs. So don't crush the Niners defense just yet. Don't crush Robert Saleh just yet. It seemed like he made the right calls and nothing was really going to work with those DBs and that tired defensive line. Reinforcements are coming. The Niners, that should be the last dud of the season for the Niners. Thanks for watching. I'll be back later on this week to preview the Rams. Take care.